My name is Sarah, and I live in the UK with my dad. I don't need to worry about the cold outside.
Western support has led to soaring unemployment, with many unable to feed their families or even to eat them.
But it upsets me to see children in Afghanistan suffering during the winter. I want to make them happy. Let's remind them they are not alone.
Women barred from work and education have lost another fundamental right.
Let's share the warmth with families in Afghanistan who have no means of heating by donating today. Bring a smile to an innocent child. Visit www.imamhusseincharity.com.
Welcome, dear ladies and gentlemen, dear viewers of Imam Hussein TV, and welcome to the late night show with myself. If you haven't watched this show before, this show is called The Late Night Show with myself, Ali Fadhil. I am the host of this program. This program, I'm not going to get into the details of what it's all about. It's for you to sit back, relax, and to enjoy the show. It is late night for a reason, because everything is uncensored, everything is uncut. I say that, but the producers probably cut this out anyway. But anyway, we have regular guests on a weekly basis. Today is quite a special day because I am going to welcome on my white seat, the white hot seat as I'd like to call it, a man who is often reserved, not really in the public eye, although over the last couple of years he'd like to put himself out there, controversially, maybe not, we'll find out later, okay? But historically quite a reserved person, but once you get to know him and you get past those barriers, he's quite a fun and outgoing person. You'll often see his name on Ahl Bayt TV documentaries back in the day. Again, back in the day, we'll find out what's going on. Controversy, yes, no, maybe, we'll see. You'll often find his names on documentaries right at the end, so all the credits, executive director? Producer, executive producer, Mr. Amir Jawad Taki. Jawad, we'll find out again during the show. I'd like to welcome our first guest, Amir Jawad. Thank you so much for coming. Welcome.
That's quite an introduction.
Thank you very much. I like introductions because it just basically means I can stop talking and give it basically to you. Amir, shlonek?
I'm fine, thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm very honored. I'm blessed to be on the show.
My pleasure.
I think it's a great opportunity to come and share some ideas and thoughts together.
Thank you very much for that formal introduction.
I try to maintain a very...
For now.
For now.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, just to let you know, me and Amir go way back. 1990, before that, 1994, before, 80s. Zian. I'll tell you why, because, and Amir's going to tell a story of how he came into the country. We essentially were on the boat together. So we were fresh off the boat into the country. We inspired the Amir Jawad family to come to London, and I'm probably revealing too many secrets. But anyway, we do go back quite a while, Amir, and I've seen your journey, you've seen my journey. But please, tell us about Amir Jawad, Amir Taki, Amir Jawad Taki. What's that all about? Tell me.
You're starting to get a bit annoying.
Sorry. I'm sorry, tell me, Amir. How would you like to be called first of all? Is it Amir Taki?
Amir Taki.
Amir Taki, fine. Tell us about Amir. Where were you born? What was your first environment like? Tell me.
My parents, they left Iraq in the early 80s.
Yeah.
Because they had Iranian descent. At least maybe 100 years before that, they migrated from Iran.
Oh wow.
So, and known as Taba'iyya. And so if you're Taba'iyya in that region, Saddam decided to move everybody out.
So that was the reason?
Yeah, a lot of the Iraqis that were thrown out to Iran were called Taba'iyya, i.e. they never had, they never had a tribe, for example, or they belonged to a, they had Iranian lineage, for example. And so maybe, I don't know, 100 years ago, 200 years ago, my great-great-grandfather migrated to Karbala to live there.
Okay.
And then when when there was an Islamic revolution in Iran, Saddam decided to throw out all the...
It's hot in here, sorry.
He threw out all the Iranian, kind of anyone who had Iranian descent.
Okay.
And my mom was thrown to prison. My dad escaped.
Yeah.
And they arrested his sisters. They arrested my mom's brothers.
Wow.
And they went to Iran and they met there, and that's how they got married.
And so how did you end up in Syria?
My dad left Iran after getting married to my mom and went to Kuwait. He was involved in political activism there. There was a way to, get involved in politics against Saddam from Kuwait, being on the border. And my mom, she was pregnant by the time with me.
Okay.
And obviously, she traveled to Kuwait. My dad was very busy with his,
Politics.
work, and he doesn't, different world.
Yeah.
So she came. She was pregnant. She was 8 months pregnant.
When she was in Syria?
No, she was in Iran coming to Kuwait.
Iran coming to Kuwait,
Yeah.
and she's 8 months pregnant.
She shouldn't have done that, but she
A month later, she gave birth to you?
Yeah. So
Where were you born?
Kuwait.
Kuwait.
So she left. She left Iran, saying, "Where's this guy? I need to see my husband. Amir's, this kid's gonna be born. He's not here. And my dad's too busy in Kuwait." So she left, looking for him, and she went to Kuwait. She landed in Kuwait, and I was, they took me to, my mom went to a hospital, and they were about to,
Oh my God.
So they asked her, she gave birth, and she goes, "What's your name?"
This is the first time I've heard this.
They go to my mom, "What's your name?" And she said, "I don't know," because she doesn't know the name of the passport she traveled in with. So it's it was born in the chaos.
That's crazy.
And my birth certificate should have been Abdul Amir.
Yeah.
But my dad, the man in the hospital refused to write that.
Why?
He said that's a Shia name. Has to be Amir only.
Because you're in Kuwait,
Yeah,
right?
it can't be Abd, a person. Yeah, Abdul Rahman, Abdul Majid, Abdullah, but you can't be Abd Amir. And I found out later that my dad named me Abdul Amir and named my sister Faiqa and my second sister Fatima / Radhiya. She got 2 names. All after my dad's friends who had been killed by Saddam. So Abdul Amir was his best friend, got killed. Faiqa was a woman in Karbala, she was killed. Radhiya and Fatima are his sisters that were executed by Saddam. So it was that psyche. We left, I think, Kuwait in '84, where there was an explosion in I think the Kuwait. There was an embassy explosion in Kuwait, and all the Iraqis had to leave because if they get arrested, they're sent back to.
So to what extent did politics then play in your upbringing and the way you saw the world?
Yeah, so from that time, really, from the day I was born, even before I was born, from the time my parents were thrown out and my aunts and uncles were arrested, until really, until 2003. It's just been, you can hear Saddam in the house. Obviously, you can hear that word, his name being uttered.
And that must have then travelled with you to London?
Yeah, of course. As I said, until 2003, he's always, that name was always there. We moved to Syria in '85. My sister was born there. And that's where we resided. I think my parents had a choice of either Iran, a lot of Iraqis lived in Iran, or Syria. My dad...
we went to Iran, I think, at the time,
Yeah.
Did we?
A lot of people went to Iran. Yeah. We chose Syria because of my dad's work. Again, politics. And that's what I kind of...
So, Syria, you went through... Okay, before we get to that, can you just please, give me some closure on the Amir, Jawad, Taki? Because as far as I knew, or I know, growing up with you, it was Amir Jawad, which was very easy on the tongue, and all of a sudden Taki came into the equation. So tell me about that.
Obviously, in Arab countries, they have the way they name you is your name, your father's name, your grandfather's name, Amir Rida Jawad. Whereas in this country,
Amir Rida Jawad, yes.
Yeah. Whereas in this country, it's more to do with your family name.
Okay.
Laqab. Your tribal name. And as I said to you, because we had Iranian descent, my parents didn't have a tribal name. Do you understand? My grandfather used to make kebab.
So give us an example of a tribal name. So
like Jaburi.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. Shimmari.
Okay.
All these.
Asadi.
Yeah, Thaqil. These names. Some people adopted names, by the way. Some people adopted these names. My dad wanted to do
just to
that.
stay safe.
Just to kind of say we have a family name. Some people I don't know, traditional I don't know, I can't remember your names.
Ash'ari names, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if I should like examples, it starts to get awkward. But some people adopted family names and that's how they have. Or Sada you can't tell. يعني سيد is مثلا موسوي حسيني هذا ما تعرف شنو بعد يعني you don't know.
So they had a free pass.
Yeah, they could be Iranian, they could be It doesn't make a difference to them.
I love it.
When we came to the UK, you know, so what's your family name? We didn't have a family name.
Okay.
Right, it was Jawad. Right, just throw it in.
Where did Taki come from?
And then my uncle, Kadham, who's my dad's oldest brother.
Okay.
He's Kadham Taki.
Okay.
And my dad decided.
Why was he called Taki? That's just his name.
Because my great grandfather is called Taki.
Aha.
So his name is Kadham Jawad Taki.
Okay.
And he used Taki.
By the way,
my dad, Rada Jawad Taki.
Yeah. So this must be very interesting for the audience. It's very interesting for me. And I'm sorry if this is dragging on for the audience, but trust me on this issue, especially because Amir is quite a character in the London community. So migrating from, excuse the pun there, I don't know if anyone saw that, but I'm trying to work on my puns here. Yeah?
Yeah.
So migrating from Amir Jawad to Amir Jawad Taki was quite interesting for me. But anyway, yeah, tell me.
Yeah, long story short, my uncle wanted to use that name. My uncle was using that name in Canada, and my dad wanted to have a unified family name. Okay. And that's what happened really. I think in God knows when. In 2009, 2008, we had a name change.
You're now in London. It's 1994. How was it like growing up in London?
Coming to the UK, my mum must have been watching a lot of these British films. And the first day in school, I was in year 6 and S9 primary school.
Year 6?
Yeah.
Wow, you went straight to year 6?
I went straight to year 6. So I missed primary school and all that fun that people have. You know, apparently you have a lot of fun in primary school.
Yeah, we did, yeah.
And my mum, for some reason, she decided to give me a tuxedo with a bow tie.
In Essendon?
In Essendon.
Oh, wow.
So I came to school and I stood out, to be honest with you. It was a pinstripe tuxedo, and the pins were, you know, the stripes were very distinctive. I had a bow tie and a parting as well with gel. And she thought I was going to like
curtains.
Harry Potter. I don't know. Yeah, she thought I was going to some kind of castle or something, and she thought this is, I'm going to take him to this.
She wanted you to look as presentable as
possible.
No,
I admire that 100%.
Yeah.
But it wasn't
the first great day.
Yeah, so that really, you could say that I struck off that whole year.
Yeah.
That year was gone. From there on, it was pretty much cancelled. So
okay. So
I walked into school and this guy called Yasser, another Yasser that I met. And he says, "You speak Arabic?" I said, "Yeah." And then we became friends. And Mustafa Masoud was in my school. Ayan Awab was in my school.
Good.
Sajjad Hari was in my school.
Nice.
We had a full, like a team there.
That's
and
brilliant.
but it was very hard, to be honest, coming to the UK. Language, I didn't speak any English, and it was very hard to get to, acclimatize. Okay. I went to a very rough school in year 7.
So in terms of like growing up, how did you get involved with the community then? And why did you get involved with the community?
Growing up, we used to go to Ras Al-A'zam, it's a centre in Cricklewood.
Yeah, northwest London.
Yeah, northwest London. So every Friday it was kind of, I think it was initially a flat.
Yeah.
In Edgware Road. Yep. We used to attend that and then
moved to North Westminster for a bit.
Muharram, Majalis was there.
Okay.
But there was no Friday programs. The Friday program was in the house. But whenever occasions was on the flat, and they used to hire places for Muharram. And then when they moved to this 94 or 96, they bought this place, and they left it a couple of years ago for Golders Green and whatnot. So this was a place where we go every Friday.
And
we meet different people, and you start to
usually from your own background, right? Karbala'i.
Yeah, obviously that was Bahrani boys. That was
Bahrani.
Musa, all the guys there. The good group of Shabab. There's the Shabab that said Ayn Nawab, Sajjad Hari, Yasser Madani. There's a lot of Shabab there as well. So we had a good, every Friday was a social. You listen. We didn't understand much from the lecture because it's very advanced, and you didn't,
Was there any activities for youth, or was it just basically whatever the men did, you guys had to follow?
So we spent our time prank calling people. We used to call people on the phone.
Whilst you're there,
yeah. We used to go outside and just prank call people.
I mean, why have you changed? I loved your old life, yeah.
And we just messed around really. We went outside. Yeah. There was fights with the local people. It wasn't really, but it was obviously there was there was not much activities for the young people at that time, and it was quite limited. But it was a social. You get to mix with people that you can there's some common denominators with them. You share common faith, common practice, and it's there wasn't much learning, but it was a community.
Yeah.
That's what kind of stuck.
Okay. So we're going to hold that thought, community, because the community is what shaped your future, I would say, and your burning passion to either change or pioneer change is going to be essentially what had an effect on you for the future. So we're going to hold that thought, because right now we're going to cut, for old time's sake, and since we're having a bit of a laugh, we're going to play a quick game. Now, for those of you in the audience, you might have known or might know of a game called Heads Up. Yes, Heads Up. So this is a really fun game. I mean, do you have to play this? We had a little practice off air, but...
Can I say no?
No, you can't.
Okay.
So the way this works is basically I'm gonna show the audience and Amir. Okay, I'm gonna show the audience and Amir what the word is. I promise I won't look left, because if I look left, I'll see the answer. The way this works, ladies and gentlemen, is basically there's gonna be a list of occupations on my screen. Okay, it's one by one. Amir, or the audience, if you want to take part, by all means. Amir has to describe the occupation without saying the name of the occupation. Okay? Make sense? Sure. If I can get it, I will flip up, basically. If I got it right, I'll flip up, or heads up, basically. The whole point
what's
is
the record so far?
So you're going to start this record.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. This is starting from you. Okay? So no pressure. And we're going to do... Where are we?
How many are we expecting to do?
Huh?
How many are we expecting to do?
Yani, I've played this game before.
Is it a minute?
It's about 60 seconds, yeah.
Okay.
I've played this game before, and 6 or 7 correct answers is usually the right thing, if you could describe it properly. Now, you have an imaginative...
67.
6 to 7, yeah.
Right.
So you're quite a creative guy. So be creative with the chisma, but try and make it as simple as possible so I can get it and I can understand. I'm not the smartest when it comes to these games. I'm sorry, but it's all a level playing field, because anyone who sits in this seat is going to be playing with myself. Okay, so we're going to start. You're going to hear the music, or the sound. Music. We don't do music here. Music, you know? Yeah, yeah. So place on your forehead, it says so. So if you guys can zoom into this, that'd be great.
Someone that controls the flights when they arrive to an airport.
Controls the flights when they arrive to an cabin crew.
No, he speaks to them through the microphone and says, he speaks to the pilot and says, prepare for landing.
A flight conductor.
And,
a flight...
he controls the traffic, and it's called...
Flight trafficker. No.
Something traffic.
Air flight traffic.
Controller.
Controller. I'll take that.
Yeah.
That's one. Oh, pass by accident.
So there's people that drive huge cars between different cities.
HGV
No.
Truck driver.
What are that? What do you say?
Truck driver.
That's right. Okay. So there's people, they have a crystal ball, and they get to like tell your future. And
a fortune teller.
Yep. In football matches, there is a guy in the middle who controls the...
Referee.
Yep. There's a guy who's got books, sits in the
librarian.
Yeah. What? Passed.
There we go. Time's up, ladies and gentlemen. That was 60 seconds. Round of applause. Brilliant. So, we got a couple. Fine. So, ventriloquist. We got air traffic controller will take. Yeah?
Yeah, you got it
Truck
right.
driver will take. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5. That's a good modest score.
Salawat.
Okay, so producers are telling me in the ear it's a 4. They're the referee. I'm sorry. So yeah, it's a 4 out of 60 seconds for Amir.
You said 7 was the average.
Yeah. So for example, if you want to give this a go, let's give this a go to Amir. Let me see how I do. Okay, just put it down or put it up. Put it down or put it up. Yeah. Person who sits and tells people's if you are going to jail or not.
Judge.
Yes. When I look after your children, I am...
Nanny?
No. When the infants. I look after your infants.
Childminder?
No. It's a common American word for looking after your infant when you're going away.
Babysitter?
Yes. When I can't say the word. With a pen. I use a pen to do this. And I do a lot of this.
Writing?
Yes, writing. I'll take it.
Baffled.
Yeah. Pass, whatever that is, yeah. I use certain tools to make melodies.
Composer?
No.
Singer?
No. What's the taboo word in Islam?
Music?
Musician. I'll take that as well. A fortune teller, but he uses the palm reader.
Palm reader.
Okay.
What was that?
That was a 4 according to the judges. All right, brilliant. So, Okay, cool. We're going to go on a quick break. Amir, if you just want to... yeah, what? So, many thanks for that, Amir. We're going to go on a very, very quick break, ladies and gentlemen, where after the break, we're going to talk about Amir's, not upbringing in London, but actually, he is now in the midst of his career. I'm looking forward to it. I'm sure you are. We'll see you in a couple.
Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Quran will always say, shall I lead you to a transaction business-wise, which is beneficial for you? Which transaction business-wise is beneficial for us? Those who serve Allah, those who spread the words of Al-Muhammad, salawatullah wa salamuhu alayhim. And this is done wonderfully. You know, in our talk shows live in London, when we have them on Monday nights, the number of people whose lives have been affected. I've seen people, Sheikh Abbas Panjos told me, Sheikh Yahya Seymour said Ali Nawab done great work on the nights of Qadr. I've seen, you know, the morning shows where everybody's coming together discussing social affairs, you know, behind the scenes, the great work that's being done. I've seen these guys working diligently because we do want to produce more shows to make sure that Imam Hussein is known by Muslims and non-Muslims. When you invest with a basic company, with a basic bank, they give you a return. When you invest with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I don't think there's a return like an investment with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
I don't think so.
And Imam Ali alayhi salam told Imam Hassan, the heart of a youth is like an uncultivated piece of land. Whatever you throw on it, it accepts. We have to recognize that our youth at the moment are listening to all sorts of ideologies, all sorts of philosophies. And our aim on this channel is to try and address as many areas as possible to provide the Islamic worldview, Islam's relationship with other religions, Islam's relationship with the concepts of citizen of a state, Islam's relationship with, you know, the household and the family structure. The only way we're going to do this is by the support which has already been there in amazing ways, but we need more of that support, inshallah. Every time there's a salawat mentioned on this channel, it's thawab goes to you. And every time the Ahl al-Bayt are mentioned, the thawab goes to you. And every time that there is a show looking at the Quran, the thawab goes to you.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the late night show with myself, Ali Fadhil. On today's show, I have a man who has worked wonders within the media. You might know him as Santa, if you are from the London community, and we're going to talk about Santa in a second. But it is Amir Taki, who's on my hot seat now. Amir, thank you so much for the introduction in the last part of the show. We talked about Syria, your upbringing, and now we're talking about your career. Before I do, please explain Santa. And who was it made by?
I think it was Abbas, right? So
Tell us about Santa.
I was called Santa because I didn't shave my beard when I was young.
Okay.
I let it not grow, but I didn't shave.
Yeah.
I just kept it, or it was like fluffy and stuff.
Yeah. There we go. Is that the Santa one? Is that the reason why you called
Potentially, yeah.
Potentially.
So I had
Let's talk about
I was slight, you know, I wasn't skinny.
You wasn't skinny?
No, this picture here, I wasn't like, you know, I didn't have a six-pack at the time.
Okay, can we get the picture of him in a white shirt?
Oh, don't do that, please.
Yeah. You know where we're going. Yes! Sorry, Amir. But the only reason why I can laugh at this is because you made a monumental change to your lifestyle.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, you made
That's
a lot.
right.
Okay, so that was Amir Taki back in the day. That's why probably they called you Santa, right?
Nah, this was much later.
This was much later.
No, that picture you showed me, it was, I had a bit of a stomach,
Yeah.
right? And I had a beard,
Yeah.
and it was Santa.
Okay.
They call me Gaffer, or was it Gaffer or Santa?
Gaffer used to call you Santa.
Yeah, he used to call me Gaffer as well. That's why I called him Gaffer.
Ah, that's
The
why you called him-
football manager
Yeah.
used to call me Gaffer. Gaff.
Gaff.
Then we called him Gaffer,
Gaffer.
because that's what he used to call me.
Right, so tell us a bit about, I guess, your educational background. After high school, you went to college, went into university.
So, before university, or really when I was about 16 years old, just kind of late towards college, there was a guy called Aqil Ladak, and he was working in the publishing house in Rasul Adam with
that guy,
with Dr. Ali Bek. So Aqil is Ja'far Ladak's uncle.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, So Ja'far has got one uncle which is Aqil, and the other uncle which is Amin, I think.
Okay.
In Mombasa. I've met him in Mombasa. So Aqil was involved in publishing, and he told me, "Why do you guys start a magazine for the youth? We complain there's not much stuff for the youth and young people."
Youth Today.
Yeah, so we started Youth Today. It was
a 4-page publication.
yeah, 4-page black and white, and it developed through time. And at that time, I was probably just in A levels really. I was just finishing my A levels.
Okay.
And that's when it started, black and white, and it was.
So you had an eye on media.
Yeah, then when I finished my university A levels, I went to Brunel. I did mathematics and computer science.
Okay. Did you enjoy it?
No, it was very, very. I feel like I'm a kind of person that my mind's always racing, and I can't sit down. And we had to copy from the board to like 2 hours.
Why'd you do it?
At that time, I just wanted to choose something that would IT. I liked maths and I liked IT, which I did. I was good at both, but it wasn't something that I could study and do. So I didn't really finish it. I left it, to be honest with you.
How did your parents react?
My parents always. My dad at that time had left to Iraq. Saddam fell in 2003, and my dad had left to Iraq, and he felt that at the same time that I'm not here anymore, and I can't really control or support my son. And so
but at that age, you're very independent, weren't you? Like you had keys to the youth room in Rasul Adam. I think at that age, no, or was it just before that?
I've always been like that, to be honest with you. I've always been independent. I never really depended on because my dad's nature of work has always been out of the house. He's never been home. He's always been traveling, or his mind is somewhere else all the time.
Yeah, your mindset was to always fend for yourself.
Yeah, so that's I was like that, but obviously, it's it's harder for my sisters and my mum. But I was more involved in how could I support the community. Started a magazine, started seminars, conferences, just doing all bits and bobs really, and that's what I was preoccupied in.
So what was the I guess the main achievement in that period of your life? I can think of 3 letters.
Yeah, I mean, we had the Cricklewood Youth Club, which was an organisation that we set up, and at that time, we had about 30 people who were 5 years younger than me, I think.
Okay.
How old are you now, Ali?
33.
Oh, I'm 37. So 4 years.
4 years.
Yeah. So they had a group of young people, and obviously young people. They were just younger than me.
Yeah.
And we used to do football training. We converted one of the rooms in the Husseiniya into a.
You weren't involved in the football training much, were you?
I came around.
Hamza
and Ali. Ali took over more seriously. Yeah. But I came a few times. I was just trying to, in the back end. Yeah. I was trying to support.
Why was that so significant? Like the reason why I mentioned CYC, Cricklewood Youth Club. I think there's 2 or 3 main reasons why it was quite significant in the community. But first and foremost, for that Rasul Adam, that specific community of Rasul Adam, why was it significant that CYC was born?
I think at the time, young people at Rasul Adam, there wasn't much for them. And I would assume till now, really, most Iraqi centres don't do anything for young people. And it's really quite troubling to see that young people are growing up now without much activities. We see side organisations like Haraka, Al-Husseiniya now, Shabab Sabtayn, Akbar Foundation. And so there's so many organisations doing things. But what are the centres doing themselves? The people that have they have the ownership of the centres, what are they doing for the youth? And they have to really take a responsibility there. We're growing in a very difficult time now for our children. And for the younger children, younger boys and girls, they are going to go through very difficult times, and it's very hard to predict what's going to happen in the future. And that's why things need to happen. Now, at that time for CYC, it was a good opportunity because young people, it was all about that. Every Friday became more. When I grew up and a lot of these people my age left, I stayed behind. And I took that trust from the Husseiniya, and I took a room from them. There was a guy called Hamza Mahoney, an Irish brother who became Muslim. And together we started doing lectures and programs, and we built a tent in the back with the support of your father, I think. And we started doing a lot of activity. In Muharram, we had 4 lectures once at the same time in English. And that was unheard of. you know, it was something really powerful, and a lot of young people benefited. A lot of people became more powerful. They started feeling that religion is part of a community.
Yeah.
Alhamdulillah, I think it was a good initiative, but it was one stepping stone for
And
me.
so what was the significance for the wider community then, CYC?
I think maybe it gave people an example of how things were happening. I think at the same time, Shah Mahdi were active.
Yep.
And Dar Islam, Muslim Field was active in that. There's different organizations that were coming left, right, and center. I think Haraka Haidariya was
An offshoot
was really born just after, or really came to full fruition just after. But you know, getting that, you know, creating activities for young people was something that, you know, for me was very important. I wanted people to love the faith, to appreciate it, and the only way they appreciate it, they have to understand it. And that's why I focused on how could we make Islam understandable for everybody. And it's truly, if it's a message of God, it should be understood by everybody, not for the elite.
And so then the significance of the forum, CYC forum.
So at that time, before Facebook, you could not communicate with anybody.
Yeah.
There was no way of talking. There was MSN Messenger,
Yeah.
but it was very private. And there's a I don't know what it's called, DW something platform. There's a platform, you download it, you upload it to your website, and it creates an online discussion forum.
Yeah.
And we had something called CYC forums. You know, on the website, you know, no one had websites at the time. We had a website, we had some nasheeds and latmiyat and Quran and ad'iyah, but the main thing was and we had 100 active users, 200
Yeah.
active users.
Yeah.
At that time, you know, that was hugely significant. You couldn't get 100 people to come to a program who speak English, and we had really engaging debates.
Yeah.
The people that are there, you know, a lot of them now are active in their community.
Yep.
They're, you know, successful in what they do, and that was the first time where people sat down and they get to articulate their views.
Yeah.
And sometimes they had negative repercussions on them.
Yep.
Some people were confronted, say, why do you say this on the forum?
Yeah.
You know, why do you say this? Why do you say that? It happens.
People's views were then challenged, weren't they?
Yeah, of course. You know, but
I think the significance for me was that I grew up in an environment like Rasul A'zam where I only knew one world view, which was the Rasul A'zam upbringing, which was fine. But on the CYC forum, I was then exposed to a number of different views which were conflicting to mine. So initially my thought was, well, actually I have to go defend my faith. It was like actually being exposed to different faiths within the religion. So it opened my eyes up to a lot of possibilities, a lot of different backgrounds, a lot of different people, and I really think that it bridged the gap between loads of different communities, so that when we started to grow up, we found out, oh, that's the guy from CYC Forum, his name is Fulan and Fulanin, or whatever that name was, which was why it's quite significant for me. So, okay, cool. Moving on to your baby. And I guess what reached your pinnacle of your career. I remember till this day, you know, in the CYC headquarters, you were working on something big was happening. Tell us about the first steps of Ahlul Bayt TV.
I think the ABTV Ahlul Bayt TV started in August 09, and I think before that by about a year, we had you know, Sayyid Mehdi Mudarrisi came to London. He brought a camera and he left it in the UK. I didn't know how to use a camera, to be honest with you.
No way.
No, yeah. And then by that time, we made this documentary called When Skies Karbala, When Skies
Wept
Wept Blood, yeah. And they had a team of, you know, some Pakistani brothers, Amir Hussein, Muhsin, Hasib, you know, Pallu, Safety, all these guys together. And we made this documentary before there was, you know.
When Skies Wept Blood, yeah?
Yeah,
Where was this, by the way?
This was in Abrar Foundation.
Abrar Foundation.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was a very weird pose.
Yeah,
Anyway.
it's one of my favorite poses. There's many more images that come. I literally went through your Facebook today and hand-selected pictures that I admired of you. But yeah, tell me.
I should have deleted my pictures, to be honest with you.
You've kept all of them, by the way.
The one with the white shirt is a bit of a disaster already.
Okay, go on, tell me. Okay, so
sold
a year before LBTV?
we sold 10,000 copies of that at £5 each.
Okay,
That's a lot of money.
that's a lot of money, mashallah.
That money, a lot of it went to Ahlul Bayt TV
LBTV.
because we didn't make it for profit. We filmed everything ourselves. We edited ourselves. We used Hasib's computer. I was filming. We were using some, you know, Maash would know. You guys would know. Hussein. We had his mics. The mic on top of this, the PD 170. We connected with the XLR and we put it in a bag so the guy can have audio. It was basically shambolic.
Yeah.
I was using industry lighting, you know, these yellow lights on
Floodlights.
tripods. Yeah, floodlights.
Yeah.
That's how I would light someone up. It was really chaotic. And we filmed, we filmed 10 people, we cut it all up, and we made a good documentary. And at the time, it was different. It wasn't there before.
Yeah.
There was no YouTube. There's no content like that.
Innovation.
And we sold it. It was sold. We had promos we put out everywhere. People were like, "Oh, this is amazing, fantastic."
You can even tell by the graphics, like it was 15, 20 years old.
Yeah, Hasib did that. Hasib Rizvi.
Bless him. Okay, cool. So Ahl Bayt TV then the birth of Ahl Bayt TV came off the back of success of Karbala When Skies Were Blood.
So Ahl Bayt, the technical answer is no. Ahl Bayt TV was born because Ahl Bayt TV Arabic, which was based in Iran, had a problem, technical problem. So they're taken off air.
Okay.
And so I said to Said Mehdi, why don't we start an English channel? This is a good opportunity. The channel was down. If you want to restart, let's restart in English. We do it from London on Sky. And I spoke to a lot of people and I said, Sky is a huge platform. Let's go on
And I was
Sky.
like, wow, Sky.
Sky was amazing. So, through much deliberation and discussions and debates and, we took about 9 months to put everything together.
Wow.
But we started with nothing. I think we've said this like plenty of time. We had, it was like an office with 3 laptops and 1 camera, and that's it.
And you went to the Sky
And
platform.
we went live on TV with that. Normally people start up from year of production.
Yeah.
We had some content from the Arabic Ahl Bayt TV given to us, some lectures, but it was I can't describe it. It was basically it's 12 hours, 15 hours a day. People sleep on the floor, wake up, start working.
Yeah.
It was chaotic. There was no money. The money that we had to pay at the beginning was loaned out. It was
So how long were you there, Ahl Bayt TV? How long did it go for?
I was there from August 09 to March 19.
2019.
10 years,
And by then, it became one of the leading channels in the world because a lot of other channels sprung up, right?
Yeah, there's a few channels. It's Safir TV before. I think we had Anwar Hussein. There was a channel that popped up. I think Imam Hussein TV came
Slowly.
slightly later. There was obviously some Pakistani channels, some Urdu channels. Yeah, alhamdulillah, through the sheer work of the people that were involved, managed to do some good programming. We just didn't just produce live shows. We focused on documentaries and animations for children, which is not really a job of a TV channel. You normally have a documentary house that produces documentaries for channels, but we did that in-house. We normally have an animation house that produces animations for channels, but we did that in-house. And we have, I can name everyone that was involved. Without them, it wouldn't be possible. The people were involved, and so I see that the other channels that are involved now, the other work, it was kind of born from that moment, really. And I see it as one group of people, one team working together. You might have, it's just literally, it's someone's affection and passion to produce content for the Shia community. So you do it under this banner or that banner, it doesn't really make a difference. If you're working here or working there, it doesn't make a difference. I think you used to present a lot on Ahl Bayt TV, for example. But presenting Imam Hussein TV, I don't see that as something that is contradictory. I think it's just,
Just part and parcel of the khidmah, right? It's
part
the
and
service
parcel
for
of
the
serving. It's
community.
like one day I'm going to go to Balaghiya, the next day I'm going to Khouy, the next day I'm going to go to Rasul A'zam. That's the kind of the way I see it.
Yeah.
So,
Are you no longer there?
I left March 09, or March
Why?
19. Huh?
Why?
Do you want the...
Oh, whatever answer that you can give.
I think on one hand, I wanted to take the channel to a next step. I wanted to push the channel, and I think it's difficult to do that. And if if not everybody shares the same vision as you, then it's very hard. If you want at home, you want your wife and your children to do something, and they say no, then it's very difficult to progress forward further. And after 10 years, I felt like I've given everything I could to the channel. And if I stay longer, I'm not really challenging myself anymore. I'm not really challenging myself. I thought to myself, that's a kind of the political safe answer. It was basically at that time, me being there for more for longer, it's not going to serve me or the community further. You know, it's not going to serve my family, it's not going to serve me, it's not going to serve my community further. I did what I could. I took it to a certain level. I could take it further, but it means that we have to start again. And starting again was not really suitable for everybody. And so, you know, I left, and there's nothing negative about that. It's something that I decided to do. You can't expect somebody to be there for forever.
Yeah.
You know, it's very, you know, it's very difficult to assume that someone has got to work there for life. And I became so much so, I became a person that when someone sees me, how's the channel? They don't ask me how are you, but I became like, you know, I became the channel. You know, how's the channel? How are you doing? How, you know, that's it. So to leave that was very difficult as well. Yani, at that time I wanted to do it, and I had to do it. There's no choice. I was left, you know, in a tight corner, and there's no way. I had to get out. And but in months that passed, you know, you always remember, because it was those days, you know, and people can testify from the work that was produced, you know, that we had a very good team and we produced a lot of good content. It was very impactful. The fact that people like Abdul Rauf was walking in Karbala and someone goes to him, I've seen on TV, and people like Sheikh Muhammad Ali goes, I was in New Zealand, and this is not just ABTV. All the channels have that impact. Absolutely. It's not about, see, I'm not here talking about one channel. I'm trying to stress that point. But it was hard to replicate that impact that you had globally. Yeah. It's a very powerful tool. Yeah. And people, you know, they recognized, not me, but they recognized the presenters. I don't go on TV, very rarely. Yeah. Sometimes I do.
Brilliant. Okay, cool. We're going to leave it at that for now. Ladies and gentlemen, an intriguing conversation. It's going to get deeper, darker after the break. So stay where you are, and we'll see you in the comments.
As lovers of the Ahlul Bayt, we all have an inclination to the epitome of love. When we rejoice, when times are hard, whatever stage of life we are in, we all yearn to be in one special place. We all wish to visit the blessed shrine of Imam Hussein in the holy city of Karbala. Not all of us have the blessing to visit the shrine of Imam Hussein, but there is still a way to experience the sights and sound of the blessed land of Karbala in the comfort of your own homes.
We call upon you, dear viewers, to support us in our financial costs to help bring the Holy Land of Karbala beaming into your homes. You can support us with a monthly donation of just $50 or £30. We are your gateway to Karbala. Assalamu alaikum and welcome to Imam Hussein TV 3.
Welcome back, dear viewers of Imam Hussein TV. You are watching the late night show with myself, Ali Fadhil. It's called the late night show for a reason, because it's uncut, uncensored, and we're talking deep, dark secrets of Mr. Amir Jawad, who has joined me on the table, or on the chair, for today. We've talked your background, we've talked about growing up, having a near-death experience. If you missed it, please go back to that, because that was an interesting story. We've talked about near-death experience, we've talked about the community, we've talked about Ahl Bayt TV. So leaving Ahl Bayt TV, we're talking about, I guess, was it the lowest point of your career? Feeling-wise?
Not really, to be honest with you. I think Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala always presents you with challenges. And I don't believe in having a low point in your career. I think that every challenge is an opportunity. And I'm grateful for the years I spent on the channel, but at the same time, you know, it's onwards and upwards, really, and that's kind of the mentality you have to have. Obviously, the lockdown's been very difficult for everybody.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's kind of made things a bit difficult to get things done. But alhamdulillah, you know, the last 2 years for me have been very successful. I've been doing a lot of projects, involved in a number of things that I do, but you know.
So, okay, in terms of not the lowest point, but in terms of the most challenging time of your life, not life, as in career-wise.
The most challenging time of my life was being on the channel. You know, to manage. I used to tell people, and you can ask them, I used to tell them, we have, you know, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us this opportunity, and it's a big responsibility. It's in Iraq, it's a warta. It's a huge responsibility, and if you don't do it right, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will punish you. It's like a marja' taqleed who doesn't pray Salat al-Layl. You know the reward for it, doing it. Why? You know you have this possibility, you have this much money coming per month. You have a resource, you have people, and you have a platform. What are you doing? That used to drive me crazy. This was probably the biggest reason why I left, because I just couldn't live with myself anymore. I couldn't be able to be there and not do something that I was content with. And that drove me crazy. When someone comes a bit late, I get very agitated, like Avuja, and it's like, but it's not just a business where you're making something, you're selling apples or something. This is like you're taking people's donations and you're investing it into a project, and effectively the buck stops with me. As a director, you have to make them work. You have to make it successful. You have to come up with creative ideas. It's got to work. And that was the biggest challenge of my life. Now I'm chilling.
That went on for 10 years.
Yeah, that was traumatizing. 10 years, that was mentally it was draining.
Wow.
Mentally it was draining, because every moment, and the thing is, every time you finish a Muharram or Ramadan, you're like, oh, alhamdulillah.
And then the next wave
Next one's coming in. How could I be better? How could I improve? And then sometimes you feel people are not up to it, and you get despondent. Then you say, yeah, let's go ahead. And it's very, very difficult, very difficult. And then you bring someone, you develop him, and he leaves. He's like, oh, I have to start again. I have to find someone on this low budget to come, and you bring a producer. And it was difficult. It was very, very mentally draining, very draining, because you have mas'uliyah. Ali, on Day of Judgment, you'll be asked, you had this voice, right? And you had this ability, and you could spread the message of the Ahlul Bayt with your voice, but you didn't record anything. Just not bothered. Chilling.
Yeah, so
right?
It feels like it's a divine responsibility.
Well, it's a responsibility. It is a responsibility. You have the knowledge, not just responsibility. You have the asset. We had the asset with us, and so long as you are there, mas'uliyah. You don't have it, you're chilling. ما عندك مسؤولية. You say all you have to do is you feed your kids, صلي, صوم, يعني provide for your family, do your duties and relax. Look after your parents. يعني هذا الله شو يريد بعدك بعد. خب, he's not going to say to you, why do you have a channel? Bro, I don't have any money. شو بعد. But once you are there, ورطة. Once you are the first in your channel on
Did you realize this when you were starting up?
Yeah, no, I realized, to be honest with you, this was the only way that motivated me. That's the only thing that motivated me. Because I wanted to be the person that on the Day of Judgment, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will say to me, or to the team, did you guys fulfill the responsibility that you had? Or do you just mess around? And I didn't want to be in that position where, imagine if Imam Hussein comes to you and says to you,
You flopped.
what do you do with the responsibility?
That's a hefty
That
question.
is, of course, imagine you go on the Mumbar, give a lecture,
That's a hefty
and you
question.
misguide people. Isn't that worse than somebody who's just normal, who's just a layman, just for the responsibility? That's why there's a hadith, the meaning of it is that those who have the greater knowledge and the greater responsibility, Allah will judge them, not compared to the same guy, someone living in the Amazon jungle who had no knowledge of any religious education. Allah's not going to judge him like someone who's been reading for 50 years and commits adultery or whatever. Do you understand the...
Clear.
That was draining. So you asked me, 10 years it was very challenging.
the whole time.
Yeah, now I'm مرتاح. بالي مرتاح.
Alhamdulillah.
Do you understand? That's the difference here. I don't have that.
You're still hardworking. You still got the same passion.
Yeah, of course. But I don't have that mental, that weight on your shoulder. That's the most hardest thing.
Wow.
And if you have a business and you have employees, you'll see that you make sure that every month you're making more money. Your business is going up.
Yeah.
But this is a religious duty as well. You lose money, you get over it. But when you have a mas'uliyah where people say, I'm going to give you £1,000, you got to do something good with it. And if you see someone messing around in the office, it hurts. Right? When you see something done haphazardly, it hurts. When you see someone coming in, he's not doing his job, it hurts. And that was driving me crazy.
How much did that have an effect on your family?
I didn't really see my kids up until 2019. After 19, I started seeing my kids.
Wow.
We had some breaks and holidays, but I don't really, I know. When I get home, I'm working on my phone. It's just bad, everyone knows. Oh.
Hussein and Abbas, right?
Yeah.
And there's one more?
Yeah, we have obviously Zainab. She was born in January 19th. So she was born too. They told me that having a girl will bring great rizq.
Yeah.
I left my job 2 months later.
لا اعتراض بأمر الله. لا اعتراض بأمر الله. So before we talk about family, there was a bit of an experience that you went through. I would say. And I mean, you took not only obviously community programs in London seriously, but you also took some of these shabab, these youths, and you took them to different countries on ziyarah, i.e. Medina, Mecca, and Umrah trips. I remember my early days. I accompanied you guys on one of them, one of the best trips of my life. But there was a particular experience that you went through.
So we had the Umrah trip a few years ago. I think 2005. Can't remember really. It was a long time ago. And we took, it was the first time we had girls with us. Normally it's a boys trip. This time we took girls because we wanted to, get them to experience that. And there's some people that came who were married, had couples, and we had siblings and whatnot. And we arrived on the day Saudi lost in the Asian Cup against Iraq.
2004?
Yeah.
Or 2007? 2007, I think.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But everyone knows the date. You find it on Google somewhere.
Yeah.
I think we arrived on that time, and everyone's like, I think that's the day. I'm not sure, but it was something significant. I think it was that.
And the Saudis were cheesed off.
Yeah, they were cheesed off. So in the you say they look at you. Says "Tamnian," go "Hana British." He goes, "No, where are you from?" Say Iraq. I'm like, "Yalla hayak." His face is not really very, very friendly.
Okay.
So
that led to certain things escalate.
Long story short, we had an ordeal or kind of a skirmish, an argument with one of the mutatawwa people, the religious police, if you call.
Yeah.
And they arrested or they reprimanded our religious guide, and he was taken to the police station, inside the Kaaba kind of complex.
Yeah. Was he physically abused?
No, he was taken. So we followed him. He was as he was taken out from he was arrested or reprimanded in Hajj Ismail. So he was taken out, and we were sitting down looking. So what's going on? Why is this guy being dragged out? So we walked with him, and we said to him, Sayyidina, what's wrong? He's like, these guys did this to me. So we went with him to make sure that he doesn't get harmed or nothing happens to him. Because we know sometimes from experience that people may get. I remember you had your chain pulled off.
No, I had a similar experience. It was close to being physically abused, but a Bahraini, Allah, I don't know who he is, I don't know where he was, but he came and saved the day by sacrificing himself. He was literally thrown into the gauntlet, and he was beaten right in front of me. And so they said, listen, forget these kids, we're going to focus on this Bahraini kid. So he took the hit, and I just
So we
police, they
took him and they took him to. He said, "I don't want to go to the Mutawwa office. I want to take me to the police station."
Okay.
They went to the police station. It's all within the complex.
Yeah.
So we walked without our slippers. Our slippers are, in plastic bags somewhere, with the other side of the shrine.
Yeah.
And I was gonna go with him, and the room is, it's 2 by 6, 2 by 4. It's a small little office block.
Yeah.
And it's in the complex. I said, I'll go with him. I'm one of the organizers. Me and.
Were you the only one?
Huh?
Were you the only one that
Me
went
and
with him?
Mustafa were one of the organizers. So I said, I'll go with him, because he said, no, 2 minutes and he'll be out. Chill. I said, no problem. Within a minute, I heard him shouting, screaming, pain and anguish. I don't know, he was screaming. And he was not screaming because of anger, he was in pain.
He was in pain.
So, this guy, I don't know what's happening to him.
But you can hear it behind the...
It's very loud and it's distinctive. He is screaming, it's like he's being tortured. That's what I can hear. So there was a police guard standing at the door, and subconsciously it's out of control because I was very worried. We were worried about this guy. So we opened the door.
Your inner
no, everybody
child upbringing came in.
Everybody, it's a defensive mode. If somebody who you know is in threat, defensively, anybody would do the same thing. And this guy was in pain. So what we did was we just I don't know. I think there was a police officer at the door, but he wasn't there anymore. So we went inside, and we saw this guy on the floor with this big red mark on his forehead. I think he got either punched in the face or something happened to him, but he got a huge red mark on his head. I was like, so we're just confused. What are you doing? So as soon as we went in, and there's about 8 of us, or 6 of us that went in, or 7 of us, I can't remember. But that room became very full because it was obviously, we were trying to protest, why are you hitting this guy? He's British citizen, he's American citizen, why are you hitting him? You shouldn't do that. And we were just like, and there was a lot of kids with us, a lot of young people, a lot of 15, 16-year-olds. By the time we kind of figured out what's going on, there was like 10 police officers in that same room with us. And there was a big fight.
A melee.
Yeah, but none of us who were inside the police station engaged in any fights. We just were shouting and trying to protest, why did you hit this guy? These guys saw it as a threat because we went inside the police station without consent and we broke a law, so therefore they wanted to reprimand us. So they were trying to control us and we were refusing to be controlled. So that's the kind of what really happened. And it was, a bit of a Royal Rumble, really. I remember one of the guys there.
Punches.
I remember one of the guys there, he was on the floor. He had one arm chained to his leg, and his glasses were broken. He's got blood coming out of his nose. It was a bit of, a chaos.
And so the results of it were on the screen there. So what happened there? What's going on there?
So I got hit by a walkie-talkie, a big, these massive, chunky ones. The guy hit me on the head. He was trying to hold me down, and he hit me on the head. I just got a little graze, really.
A little graze.
But headache, right? I got a huge headache. And so what happened at the end, everyone's like, there was like 20 of us, 8 or 7 were inside, and the other guys ran away. But apparently they were doing a lot of kicks and inside we went in to stop what's going on. And we demanded for answers. But these guys saw it as a threat. They got us down, locked us down. They cuffed one of the guys, or punching one of the guys. It got very physical, and it got very violent, really. As I said, I got hit in the head. We didn't hit them, but they were hitting us.
It's quite a scary experience then, if that's the case.
Of course,
you
very
never
scary.
know what could happen.
And what happened is that, so some guy walked in. His name is Fawaz. He was wearing military uniform, but he had a very low cut trousers.
Okay.
I don't know if it was a fashion thing, but he had a big beard, and clearly it wasn't, fashion. It's probably his religious beliefs, and he had anger in his face, and he said, "You guys are infidels, and you come from a country full of infidels, which means that you're Shia, and you come from Britain." So that wasn't really working for us in terms of we're Iraqi, we're British, and he went to one by one. He slapped us.
No way.
So he says, "Anta kafir, you're kafir from Bilad al-Kufr." Boom, 3, 4. He slapped every single one of us, and at the end he came to me and he gave me a big slap. The ones
Was
with
it a full on
the one with when your ear starts ringing. Yeah, he gave me a big slap, and
so that was all true.
Yeah, it was a big slap, and then by that time, we were like, we're getting abused, we're the guy is slapping us in the face, and each slap was very, it's cut. So I was shouting at him, why are you doing this? And
what's so sad, Amir, sorry to cut your story short. What's so sad is that, and then I don't mean to laugh, I think it is kind of a, it's not a laughing matter, of course, because so many incidents like this happen day in, day out to Shias in Medina, Mecca, Saudi Arabia, that goes absolutely untold. Yeah. So the main thing that happened when you guys came back into London, what did you guys do?
Before that, Ali, so they took us to a police station. We stayed there for about 6 hours. They made us take our passports back. They took our passports, and the guy with us, he left, the guide, and we were left alone in...
Where did he go?
He went to America. Oh. So American embassy pulled him out. After they released us, they got to the police station. This wasn't the hospital where they took scans and to see if everything was okay. The guy who hit us was wrapped up, and he was pretending he was injured. He was now launching...
the guy who hit you?
Yeah, he was now accusing us. He wants to take us to court. So this is all happening live. At that time, my dad was an MP in the Iraqi parliament.
Okay.
And Fulana's dad was MP, and we started calling people. American embassy, British embassy, every embassy we started calling them. And then someone came after a couple of hours, and he seemed like a high official, and he released us. But being alone in Mecca the last couple of days, alone, people were scared that someone might get kidnapped.
Yeah.
Because if he's kidnapped, then you can't blame anybody. And you know, we upset them a lot with what we done. And
Are you allowed into the country again?
yeah, I've been to Hajj, alhamdulillah, again. Yeah, I went to Hajj. And yeah, I
So
think.
coming back to London, what happened then? Because that was the main
So
thing.
by that time, someone spoke to the BBC, and there was a huge hoo-ha about this. There's a big news coverage.
Yeah.
And by the time we came back, there was people welcomed us in the airport, and there was flowers and confetti.
There was a major hashtag campaign, by the way, online. I remember
Really?
It was Twitter back in the day, yeah.
Yeah.
Save... I don't know who it was, but anyway, save someone.
Anyway,
Hashtag
it
save
got
someone.
exciting. It got
Yeah.
exciting, and you know,
But the whole idea was to expose what happens basically.
so there's a press conference we did, and we spoke about what happened, and you know, we kind of read out an information, and we got a couple of interviews. The next day, Jazeera came to my house.
Wow.
They interviewed me, but you know, Press TV came like a month later again. Obviously, it happened to us. The reason we spoke about it was we wanted to make sure it doesn't happen again.
Yeah.
That's the kind of stress we
Yeah,
pushed
yeah,
on.
yeah,
But unfortunately, some media outlets labelled it as a sectarian issue, and Iraq's, you know, Sunni Shia stuff, and they pocketed it as kind of some kind of skirmish between Shias and Sunnis. It's not a Muslim, British Muslims getting, and that's unfortunate.
You're still a family man, yeah. So Ahl Bayt TV, as far as you said, it was limiting your time with the family.
Yeah.
So 2 years now, very much a family man, right?
Trying.
Alhamdulillah. How old are your kids?
Hussein is 9.
Yep.
Abbas has just recently became 7.
MashaAllah.
And Zainab is 2 and a bit.
2 and a bit.
Yeah.
So you're probably wondering why we have these small, scary-looking bottles. Ladies and gentlemen, dear viewers, let me move this out of the way. Okay. So what's going to happen now is we have 3 questions to ask you. How well do you know your children? Okay. The repercussions of getting a question wrong is you have to drink one of these. This is basically Tabasco sauce, everyone. Tabasco sauce. It's quite spicy. Diluted with a drop of water. So the whole idea is basically, how well do you know your kids, Amir? Okay, so we're going to ask you 3 questions. The first question is, to each of your children, your boys, I would say, because your girl, mashallah, she doesn't know how to speak. To your boys, what is their favorite food to eat? We'll start with Hussein.
Jack potato.
Jack and potato. And Abbas?
I have no idea.
Take a guess.
What did Hussein say?
I don't know. We're going to find out.
Okay,
Here we go.
Abbas's favorite food. I think Hussein is noodles. It's not Jack
Hussein
potato.
is noodles.
Yeah, it's noodles. Abbas is. I have no idea.
Okay, fine. All right, we're going to find out the answer now.
What's your favorite food?
Burgers. Noodles on a chopstick.
Okay, so burger for Abbas.
Oh yeah, burger. That's right.
Burger for Abbas.
Yeah.
And noodles and chopsticks. So noodles, you
Yeah.
corrected yourself.
Yeah.
I'm going to give you half a cup. So you'd have to take the whole thing.
The whole thing.
No, just take half of it.
Have you tried this with anybody
I have
before?
never tried this and I will never ever try this in my
But
life.
what if this is too much and something happens to me?
Just take a sip, Jan. Nothing will happen to you. Just take half of it. Okay? For getting half
half
the
of it. This
question.
is water.
Half the question wrong. Just That's it. That'll do. That'll do. Is that good? We don't do the whole thing. Okay, next question. Let's move on. Get some water, please, guys. Please, guys, get some water. Please. This one does say milder. Okay, so you're okay. And this one is just the normal one. Oh, Khataya, you started with the really, really bad one. It's going to get better, okay? Second question is, what is your favorite activity?
Who?
Both of them, Hussein and Abbas.
Activity.
Yeah.
Oh God.
What's the favorite thing to do?
Playing the games, tablets.
Okay, so games, tablets. I'll take it
Yeah.
as one answer, yeah?
Yeah.
So games, tablets. Both of them?
Both of them.
Both of them same answer?
Yeah.
Okay, let's see what the answer is.
What's your favorite activity?
Sports. Football.
What's that?
The total opposite of tablets
Their mom probably told them say something, like activity.
He's trying to make them look good, Khataya. Okay, cool. This is.
You know there was a chili sauce at stake.
This is mild. So just take a sip of this, Khataya. You're actually struggling.
I'm shaking. Look at that.
They're gonna get them. Just take a sip. It's fine. It's fine. Just take a bit. Just take a bit. Just take it. It's fine. I feel sorry for you right now. That was better, huh? Oh wow! Wow! That is really strong. And you took a lot out of that. Okay, third and final question, Mr. Amir Jawad. What do you want to be when you grow older?
Was that for them or for me?
Yes, for you to answer and for them to just...
Hussein, dentist.
Okay.
Abbas, chef. I'm just going to guess here.
Okay, you're going to guess here. So,
the first one I think
Hussein,
maybe, but the second one...
Hussein on the left is dentist and Abbas on the right is chef.
Please be right. Please be right.
What do you want to be when you grow up?
A pilot. Dentist.
Yes, you got one right. Well done. So Hussein.
Noodles is right.
Noodles is right. So you know Hussein more, you know the Abbas. So we need to get to know Abbas a bit more. But
Abbas
I tell you what, this
talk to me.
activity and sport.
That's fake.
Yeah, one second. Activity and sport. Come on, that was staged. I feel like I feel you because my son would never ever say sport and football. But rules are rules.
How was this?
This is like the generic. This is the normal one. So that's mine. That's mine. Okay.
It's too much. I'm gonna faint.
Just take a bit. Just. Kill the guy. Oh my God. Okay, let's just change the subject. Thank you so much for Hussein and Amir. A very round of applause for Hussein and Amir. Last couple of questions. You're a media guy.
Sorry?
You're a media guy, obviously. So
Tissue, please.
yes, of course. When you're watching movies, obviously you look at it through a different lens than I and the layman does. But what's your favorite movie?
I'm not into movies really, but Shawshank Redemption, I think for me, is probably the best film I've seen. I'm more into like Netflix dramas, series. I think for me, Peaky Blinders, for example, is very powerful.
Series?
Yeah, I've seen it.
I've seen the first 5 seasons, but when he becomes the mayor,
MP,
yeah, then that's when I kind of
like Breaking Bad.
Shall I carry on?
Breaking Bad.
Shall I carry on?
You've seen the first 5 seasons?
Yeah.
There's 1 season left, yani.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, that's it.
Oh, okay.
No, it peaks at that time, really.
Okay.
But, Peaky Blinders,
Okay.
Breaking Bad.
Biggest inspiration? Who's your biggest inspiration?
In terms of what?
Who inspired you? Career?
This sounds a bit cliche, but I think my dad.
Really?
Yeah, I think my dad is my biggest inspiration. I think everything I've got, anything good that I have in me is from my dad.
Top 3 memories?
Top 3 memories? No idea. Probably when my son was born.
Okay. 3 angels?
Yeah, probably when my son, when Hussein was born, that was really, very kind of, it was a life changer for me.
Yeah.
That time. He was born 2012.
Hussein being born was the best memory. And just to wrap it up, what's next now for Amir, Jawad, Taki, Santa?
Next for me is, I always, when I go to the shrines and the imams, I always say that, the dua that I say is, Allahumma wafiqna lima tuhibbu wa tarda. Just whatever opportunity there is, maybe no more opportunities. So I'm not an ambitious person that I need to do something for the sake of it. At the moment I have a company, I do media work for different charities, organizations, companies. I also have set up a charity now, Dawn Foundation. I'm doing virtual classes for kids. We have about 100 kids registered. We're doing animation videos now for short explainer videos to explain complicated theological questions in the space of 3 minutes.
Cool.
So,
last words of inspiration.
Live your life like you can live for another 1,000 years, but pray like say last prayer. If you can get that balance in life, then.
Amir Taki, It's been an absolute pleasure to have you on the show. I'm very sorry for the suffering that you've endured today, but it's been a beneficial show nonetheless. Please, round of applause for Amir Taki. So tune in the following shows where I have another interesting person to talk with, discuss with. Don't forget, it is the late night show, and it's the late night show for a reason. Uncut, uncensored discussions around people's lives and their experiences. You're watching the late night show with Fadhil. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.